Hey, this is DJ Straight, and it's Wednesday with Tripping with the Birds. And today we have Vanessa as hosting, and we have Rick and Trina coming on in. So, got another great, exciting Wednesday for you all. And I was watching, and I just forgot to go ahead and hit come on in. So, welcome to another. That's what happens when you're live. You got it, Vanessa?
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Tripping with the Birds. Welcome, Trina. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, I had to unmute. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Good evening. I think Rick will probably come a little later.
Okay.
But how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good.
How was
I'm
your
very
week?
good. Pretty good. I've been pretty much working on a lot of course material for my new classes coming up.
Oh,
And I did a Zoom group interview yesterday, in fact, and I
okay.
had a few people from around the country. About 8 people were on the call.
Very nice.
Florida. I had somebody from the Midwest. So I'm actually looking for a virtual recruiter for my online platform so that I can expand it because it is virtual. So therefore, anyone can, kind of sell the
Right.
courses. So we put together 2 programs that will allow individuals to actually make money for selling the classes, and then also a platform where they can actually instruct their own classes
Oh,
on our
nice.
platform. So that's what I've been kind of tied up with.
Okay. So, what kind of classes are you're about to teach now?
Well, our main classes are Google
Okay.
Workspace, which
Uh huh.
is, I did some more research. I already knew it, but Google Workspace has actually surpassed Microsoft Office in the business world.
You think so?
Yeah, I actually I did do a. I'm not sure if I can pull it up now, but I got a stat that was in lieu of my presentation that I had to do, and I think it was like 69% people are using Google Works over Microsoft Office,
Wow. Okay.
and it's primarily because of the fact that Google has all these shared services under one umbrella, as do Microsoft, but it's just more user friendly, and of course it's free,
Mm-hmm.
so that makes a big difference. And companies are just utilizing it a lot
That's
more.
true. That's true.
So
Google.
we also
Google
do
has
Microsoft
lots of great.
Office, and we're also doing a um, credential for remote work. So what we're pushing is that instead of just kind of relying on your experience and your expertise in your field,
Yes.
but you also become proficient in doing remote tasks.
Okay.
And a lot of people are doing Zoom meetings, but they don't know how to do the behind the scenes with Zoom. They don't know how to integrate other platforms into the daily tasks that you may have for your regular job. So we created a credential program where we'll train you on the whole digital platforms that are integrating itself into everyday business life in the workforce, whether it be in person or virtual.
That that is amazing. I'm it just never ceases to amaze me the ideas that you come up with to, educate people, but just the business ideas. So now you've created this class, a credentialing class,
Yeah,
to teach people the ins and outs of Zoom and Google. Oh my, that's very, very necessary. So you'll be teaching Google Docs and things like that too?
yeah. The whole Google. I really specialize in Google Forms, which is
Oh,
such a powerful. It's a powerful program.
yeah.
It'll give you the ability to do so much more than a document, a
Mm-hmm.
docs uh, program, or even Microsoft Word. So that to me is the biggest thing because it's number one free, and number two
Yes.
it's got a lot of potential. You could even sell products using Google Forms.
Really? Now,
It's a powerful program that a lot of people don't know about it, and they just kind of think it's like a regular form that you would use to collect email addresses, names, and address, which it does. But there's a whole lot more that you could utilize it to do, and I've just been doing so much with it to implement it into these programs that I'm developing that I kind of don't even want to create a form in Word anymore.
so how long is your course, your credentialing course?
The credential course, most of our credential courses, and we've got like three different levels of
Okay.
courses. So you can earn, all of them earn you some type of certificate or credential.
Okay.
So our certificates they could be anywhere from a seminar that's 90 minutes to up to a workshop, which is 2.5 hours, to a full 6 hour day class. Um, and also a course that could be over a 3 to 5 day period.
Okay.
And then we have our curriculum courses, which are minimum 8 to 12 weeks. And you're meeting every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday is on your own. But in that particular category, you get a state approved certificate. So this, all of our curriculum is approved by the state Department of Education and Labor.
Mm-hmm.
But that credential certificate just means that you've actually put in at least 250 hours. So it's based on the hours that you put in, whether you get a certificate or you get a credential.
Okay. So you can offer businesses your service and they can have their employees to take your classes.
Yeah, I actually had a class that was, this is so funny. And this is the
Mm-hmm.
county in New Jersey. I had, they contacted me probably sometime in between Christmas and New Year's, ironically. And I scheduled them to attend class on Monday.
Okay.
And I always do like a trial run. And these people were going to do the class virtually, but they had no cameras on their computers.
What?
No
How can they do
cameras.
it with no cameras?
I guess they didn't think about it.
S-
So we had to postpone it. But
Yeah.
that's for the accounting program that they need to be proficient in using Excel and Microsoft Access.
And you
So
teach those as well.
yeah, I teach. Yeah, I pretty
Have
much.
you um have you
I have a
thought
couple of
about
instructors too.
okay. Now have you thought about creating a YouTube channel with your instructions on there?
We do. We do. Under the T-Bird Center, we
Oh, you
have.
have a YouTube channel already?
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, we got a lot of videos already out there, and they typically are how to. I don't title them as how to, but I'll do a free class, and one of my biggest classes that I try to promote, and I'm so amazed. I was talking to one of my students the other day. She actually brought it to my attention where it's big in, I wouldn't call it advertising, but whenever you see a segment on the news or advertisement about jobs, they always
Mhm.
talk about today people need to know their value and their worth so that they can make sure that they're getting paid exactly what they should be. And I believe it was a 12 or 16 week series. It was only once a week, but I did a series and I uploaded it to my YouTube channel on circle of success. And that circle of success was basically determining what your value, your worth, and exercises to be able to do that. Because everybody may have an idea in their mind what they're worth, but they haven't
Right.
really done the exercises to determine, okay, if I have an associate's degree, this is valued at versus a bachelor's degree versus a doctorate. This is what my colleagues are getting paid, or this is the last job, that's how much they paid me. And all of that could be misinformation. You may have taken the job thinking that that was a good salary based on your
Right.
previous job, but in reality, it could have been $10 or $15 an hour less than what your value is. So
Wow.
we did a whole series on how to determine, and we also teach people that they are a brand. You're not just an employee. Employees are not good. I mean, people don't. This gig work and this side hustle work is becoming more prevalent in the workforce, and
Yes.
so employers like it as well. There's some still old school where they want you to come physically to the building every day and they got to
Right.
watch what you do and all that. But this younger generation, the 20 and 30-year-olds, they are demanding virtual work. They're
Yes.
demanding making their own schedule. They're demanding creating their own niche so that they can still provide the service that they need to do in order to get their paycheck. But they also want to be paid for their value and their worth. There's no longer a job that is longevity in a position doesn't exist for them.
Yes.
They want to hop
So,
around and get as much experience as they can.
explain to me the terminology brand because, I mean, I've just really, within the past maybe 3 years, maybe four, started hearing about brand, your brand, because it used to be, brand new shoes, but now everything's your brand, your brand. So, what does it mean when someone says your brand or a brand?
Well, typically, brand was associated with someone in business.
Okay.
So, like McDonald's has a brand. When you see that M for McDonald's, you know that
Yes.
belongs to Mickey D's or McDonald's franchise.
Okay.
When you see a Starbucks logo, it was really tied to your logo and your product or your service. And it was more for business. But I would say in the last 15 years, people have been developing their brand for their career. So if you're like, for example, if you're an entertainer and you sing, you might have a brand that you develop for your style of singing. If you go into selling clothing lines and perfumes, that's a whole separate brand. And I think that's where it kind of came from because you have these multi um, industries that people, nobody just has one job anymore. They'll
Right.
have a few different, they have their night job, their weekend job, and then, of course, their day job.
Right.
And you have to, protect your your resources and what you bring to the table. And so we always really did, as an employee, had a brand because you were known in your company for being at work on time, maybe having perfect attendance, being the person that you could rely on to have the answer, or if they didn't have the answer, they would go get the answer. So we always really did have a brand, but we just never referred to it as that.
As a
And so that's
brand.
the
Okay.
difference. So now it's like this is my brand as a career brand, as an employee, this is what I'm known for, this is what I'm capable of doing, and it has value.
It has value. So the brand is essentially you're saying it's really your business,
Your personal
your personal.
career track.
Okay.
Because you still
Okay.
have if you're a business owner, it still exists for your brand. But if you're a business owner and you also work for someone, you have a brand under both umbrellas. You have a brand for your business, which would be
Okay.
like T-Bird Computers.
Okay.
But if you actually work for a large company and you're actually a manager or a director, you do have a brand that they expect you to be able to produce every single day when you go there.
Okay.
And the employers might not refer to it as your brand, but you do because it is your capabilities.
Okay. Okay. I'm still understanding the terminology there. Okay, that's interesting. Um, Now, do your business it's called T-Bird
The parent company is T-Bird Computers, and we've kind of
Computers.
gotten away from that because
Okay.
computers, in the beginning, 20 years ago, when we started in 1990, which is really almost what 40 years ago,
30. Yeah.
30 years ago. Having computer in your name was just,
Okay.
okay, you're smart, you you know a little bit more than the average person because you're saying you're providing a computer service. And probably about 15 years in, we're still the parent company, T-Bird Computers, but what we did was we changed the name on our building to the T-Bird Center.
That's
And the
what I was trying to
reason,
think of.
yeah, the reason we did that is because we went from specializing in like Microsoft Office. At that time, it was um, WordPerfect and Lotus, then Microsoft Works, then Microsoft Office. Then we started to move into doing medical billing and coding, grant writing,
Oh wow.
computer repair. We started to do all kinds of different other programs, but the foundation of it was to teach them maybe 8 weeks of the computer and then 8 weeks of a specialized subject like
Oh
medical
wow.
billing or medical
Yes.
coding. So I decided that it would be better to call us a T-Bird Training Center opposed to
Right.
T-Bird Computers because we didn't want you to think that we were exclusive to maybe just doing repairs and upgrades because we did start out
Right.
with that and we moved
Right.
into the training. So that was more universal. And then we kind of got rid of the T-Bird Training Center to just calling it T-Bird Center because we do a lot of consulting work. And because technology branched off into so many industries, we just didn't want to limit us as to what could be available. And then we had another level of businesses in our building that were offering different services as well. So we just decided to call it the T-Bird Center. Under that is the T-Bird Training Center, as well as the consulting company. We put that under the umbrella. My grandson has a t-shirt, not a t-shirt, but a clothing business, and then my son does his BIM and scanning, and he does a lot of architectural type services. So it just kind
What
of
is he?
encompasses
You
itself.
said BIM and skinning?
Scanning.
Scan. Oh, okay.
Yeah, what he does is he can go out to a facility that may be a building that has been abandoned and it's still not abandoned but not being utilized. He can
Yes.
scan that building and then drop that data into a software program and design an actual um, video of what it's going to look like once they go in and upgrade it. And
Oh wow.
yeah, so it's
Nice.
information modeling, which means basically, and now they've got apps out that can do it too. So you've seen those commercials with Home Depot where you can go in and take a look at how you want the kitchen, how you want your
Right.
kitchen, and then you can just drag in a stove and drag in a refrigerator, and you see
Yes.
what it looks like before they actually come in and design. So he does that on a federal level, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I mean, I have tried it, but I just haven't put the time in there to figure that out, moving the furniture around and renovating and all that kind of thing. So, with your consulting, you help people with resumes or you don't really
We
venture into
well,
that?
yeah, resume. The whole job search entity is included in all of our curriculum based programming. I mean, that
Okay.
the people that fund individuals to come to our training program, they want them to get a job. So
Okay.
we've incorporated so much into the development of your resume and your job search letters. We all know now that the resume is submitted electronically now, and so therefore it has to pass through a automated system where you don't want your resume to actually get kicked out. So we
Right.
teach them how to create a ATS ready resume so that you can go to the next level in these automated computer systems where you upload when you upload your resume to like a LinkedIn or a Indeed.com,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't even get to the recruiter or any of these proprietary systems until it passes through a system that actually looks for keywords
Right.
to take it to the next level. So we teach students. So it is big, and that's
Yes.
part of our remote work credential, where we teach you specifically how to create a resume that can pass through that process. So it is big. It's bigger than it's been in years. I mean, nobody's doing a resume generically, getting it typed up and using that resume
Right.
for every job they apply for. You have to be
Right.
able to build a resume for the specific job you're applying for and matching your objective or your summary, your job search letter, your cover letter, all of that has to match the job that you're applying for, not the job you're looking for.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So, do you have a website that lists like your certificates and your credentials and everything so that somebody can who's interested can go to your website and see what you offer and then check out the dates that these things are being offered so they can sign up? Is there
We do. We have tbirdcenter.com. But I mean, I do use that a lot, but I usually try to post things on social media because I want people to find out what we do, because I'm constantly like I developed like 3 4 different programs this past week,
okay?
and specifically targeting what's in demand right now. So trying to
Right.
get people to understand that you can't just sit back because you don't have a job and watch TV all day and collect your unemployment and then wait for the consequences of that. So I'm constantly out there on my Facebook page putting out different workshops, different trainings that will allow you to get the skills and credentials that you need in order to just further your education and be prepared. Right now, remote work is the hottest thing going,
Yes.
but they're going to catch up to the fact that people are living in New Jersey, but getting, and that average salary there may be $16 an hour.
Right.
Transfer over to the West Coast in, let's say, Los Angeles, where the average salary is $22 an hour, but yet you don't have the expenses of living in Los Angeles. You're living at the salary that's in your state. And so
Right.
you're getting an increase that you wouldn't get based on your demographics, but based on another demographics. And obviously you're getting paid. So are you paying taxes on both ends, or, all of that? This is all new. So you got to get
Yes.
in and learn this system before it starts to become more regulated. Right now, they're just worried about COVID and getting people
Right.
to go to work and all that. But this
Right.
online is not going anywhere, and it's
Oh
going to
no.
expand. And you have to be knowledgeable and experienced and get some skills. The skills are important, but you got to get some experience to go with those skills.
Yes. So, what are your, if you don't mind, you said you post mostly on social media. Um,
Yeah,
what
you can.
are,
Yeah, we're if you do T-Bird Center on Facebook or
okay,
LinkedIn or Instagram, we're out there. Um, Maybe next week I'll have the links together and I'll do a little demo of the things that we're doing.
okay, okay.
Um, the beauty of how we do this show is that we kind of never know where we're going, so it's hard
I
to
know.
kind of like have things prepared and ready, which I love the fact of that. We just have to stay consistent with the following week, do part 2, so we can show
Yes.
you the things that we discuss, which gives you it's good because then you can tell your friends about what was discussed, and then hey, the part 2 next week is going to be, this is how we do it, this is how you do it.
Yes.
So we have to make sure we stay consistent with that. But yeah, we're out on our social media. We used to do a lot of radio in our local area, but we want to be global. So that's why I do a lot of it on social media. I join a
Okay.
lot of groups on Facebook so that, like for example, I didn't just do it, but I just posted again a course that I developed for people that are wanting to start online schools. Like virtual schools are popping up everywhere, and not
Everywhere.
like a public school. People are just
Right.
doing trainings for all kinds of subjects, and yet they know how to deliver their subject content, but they don't know the procedures of running a business and being able to build customers correctly and all of that digital background that needs to take place in order for you to be successful at business opposed to the product or the service. So I'm doing a workshop on that to teach you how to uh, automate your processes, develop those processes so that they work effectively and efficiently for you, as well as, what platforms are out there that are free opposed to signing up
Yes.
for all these subscriptions that really, don't can get, you could get a free platform that'll give you
Mm-hmm.
the same result. But yet
Mm.
well, if you do that and you're spending a lot of money, then you're taking away from your bottom line and your net profit. So
Okay.
that class is very valuable because, it helps you save money, helps you organize. We have a lot of templates that we have created so that you don't have to spend that time in developing like your registration form and enrollment forms and putting
Right.
together all of those documents that are needed if you're doing it online, as well as if you're doing, selling products online that are like your crafts. One of my students who just graduated, she's on Etsy, and she was so excited about taking the class because one of the components or modules of our curriculum class is that when you get to publisher, you design all your desktop publishing programs, and we've integrated Canvas in there, and
Okay. Oh, wow.
yeah,
You're up on all of these things.
yeah, and it's
Um,
exciting. I really love it.
yes. It now I know you say you mainly post on social media, but your website does list all of these things as well in case
It
somebody
does,
wants to go there and see
it
everything in
does,
one place. Okay.
it
Okay, because
does.
that
But
I'm
I
ready to
think
go there myself.
I think the website is. I'm not sure if it's limited because I haven't put a lot of time into integrating it because I love all these other little platforms that are just
Right.
so um and because I mean I could put my website out on social media and people would go there. You gotta like kind of scroll through each one of the tabs. Whereas when you're
Right.
using some of these other platforms, it's just right in your face. You click on it and everything's there, like Constant Contact. Constant
Hmm.
Contact, when you get an email from that in your email, you notice everything is all in that one page
Hmm.
media. And so you don't have to worry about clicking here, clicking there. So my son insists that web pages are becoming obsolete because
Oh,
you've got
are they?
instant. Yeah, he thinks that. Um, and I do utilize LinkedIn more so than I do my website. I'm on my Facebook page. I'm on Instagram, and that social media stuff is just instant. They don't have to
Okay.
find you and then peruse through your website to figure out where everything is.
Right. And I guess that is I know a lot of the younger people are on the social media sites, but say someone who's young, like 40 or 45, um, I never heard that websites were becoming obsolete.
Well, I
Okay.
guess I shouldn't say obsolete. I should just say they're not as important as they once were.
Hmm.
It was a time when if you didn't have a website, you pretty much wasn't a business.
Right.
But these younger people, you don't see them when they put when they advertise their business or you get the business cards. Start noticing the business cards that you receive. It's always there at Facebook, at LinkedIn, at
Yes,
here,
I see
at there.
those. I see
Yep.
those too.
So they're utilizing that technology because it's instant. You can put the video out there, which you could do those kinds of things on your website. But there's
Right.
sometimes limitations where these new platforms, these digital social media platforms, just have so many things integrated into it. It's like, for example, if you go on LinkedIn and you post your resume,
Right.
you could also go on Constant Contact and create a webinar, a web resume, and it be linked to your LinkedIn page. And if you update things on your Constant Contact, it will up. So that integration doesn't exist throughout all of these different formats of web pages. So you don't
Okay.
get that connectivity that you get with the social media. And I think that's why people are swaying away from it simply
Hmm.
because of the fact that the technology is just, it's just growing faster than you could create something.
It is definitely that. Now, the thing is, you've heard of the show, maybe you haven't, but it's called Dirty Jobs, and this guy Mike will
Yeah.
go to certain places. Okay, so I saw him on, I think it was the Today Show recently, and he went and he goes to these jobs raw, and he does it like somebody walking off the street would go in there and do the job. Um, he just did this one thing. I think it was in Louisiana. They were dealing with some kind of jellyfish,
Hmm.
and he was saying they catch these jellyfish, and if they take a pound of jellyfish and integrate it into a pound of ground beef, you have 2 pounds of ground beef, and it will make the food last longer and go farther, and it doesn't change the taste of it. So, but his thing was, when he went to this factory, everybody in there was either 50 or 60 and above. They couldn't get the young people in there to do the work because they had to get these little shells or whatever and open them up and separate them and all that. So they couldn't get 25 and 30-year-olds in there to do it, even though it's paying. So for someone who's maybe retired or retired early or quit their job, who's more than 25 or 30, and they want to get into the workforce, and say maybe they're not on Instagram or LinkedIn. I mean, I have a LinkedIn, but I hardly go to it. um, I did go to it in December though. But if they're not on those platforms, because some of them they're learning to go to websites now. That's a big thing for the websites, and now Facebook has become uncool because so many, as my son would call them, boomers are on there now. So the
Hmm.
young people, it's like when MySpace was new. It was young people, but when the somebody who was over 25 got on it, the young people want to move to another site.
Right.
Um, so for those people who are not so technologically savvy, how do you reach them? I mean, I know if you once you get them, you can explain LinkedIn and Instagram, and I don't know if you use TikTok, but you can explain, like I today I heard of Constant Contact, so now I need to go look that up
Yeah.
because I had not heard of that.
That's a powerful platform. In fact, DJ Straight has it as well. Now, what I would say to that is, I'm very excited that the 20 and 30-year-olds don't want those kinds of jobs, because remember, about 15, 20 years ago, older people were just getting thrown to the wolves. We were just getting thrown to the streets. If you didn't have your own business, you were out of a job and you couldn't
Right,
get a job. We had an influx of individuals coming into our school that were in their 40s and 50s, trying to get these computer skills that they never even thought about, never even
right,
cared about, until they
right,
couldn't find employment. So I'm glad that that's actually happening. Let them go do all the jobs that they want to do, and the jobs that are left over. We are a generation that knows how to adapt when we have to, and learn what we need to learn to do the job. We do have some people that are still afraid of technology, but I think that because of the pandemic and the things that we were forced to do, we weren't unable to do because of the pandemic, and then of course our age made us more aware of where we needed to be in terms of getting things done, and having to
right.
learn how to use this technology in order to do it. So we're in a good place. I'm in my 60s. Certainly 40, 50, 60-year-olds that may not have been exposed on a daily basis to technology do understand now the importance of it. They realize it's not going anywhere, and we have to get on board. That's one, because we're not, we're living to be 80 years old. So we
Yes,
have to do something to fulfill that time that is conducive to keeping your brain functioning well, and just your spirit and overall. And
absolutely.
so technology is one of the tools that as a 40 or 50-year-old, or even especially a retiree, you have to embrace, because you can get up in the morning and not have anything to do
Right.
because you can't go out because of the COVID, or you just don't want to be around people because you're in fear of your health issues. But you can certainly get on that computer and go anywhere in the world.
Right. So how do you reach out to those people or to get them to their computers? Because
Oh,
some people
yeah,
need
I
to
see
learn
what you
how
mean.
to use it.
Yeah, because they're not on social media to find you. That's a
Right.
very good question, Vanessa. But I tell you what, if they find their way to me, we are we've done senior programs for like 15 years. We did a seniors program 55 and older, and it was a challenge for a lot of the seniors because
Yeah.
they never were exposed to it. But we made it fun. I've got all kinds of curriculum for them to expose them. I think probably the best way to reach them would be somehow through their cell phones because they do know how to
They
text,
do have cell phones.
right? And they do know how to because they're doing that, talking to their grandkids. So what I
Yes.
would say is if you have a parent or a grandparent that you may be concerned about that they're not having as many activities as they could um, in utilizing the technology, is for us to tap into the young people for that so that they can
Yes.
get them exposure and let them know that these programs are available. AARP.com. I'm sure a lot of
Mm.
seniors, my mom's 82 years old, and I've been telling her, go out there to that website. They've got
Yes.
so many different programs out there. They got educational programs, they got
Yeah, they
all of that.
do.
That's a great place to start. And they may
Yes.
already be in tune with that based on their cell phone because they get the little card, they save a little bit of discount on there. But we need to move them from just utilizing the card for discounts and getting that magazine every month to actually going out on that website and being more interactive with those resources that are out there. So I would say that,
That's true.
and get their kids to get them more involved. I mean, you got these young people. I remember a couple of weeks ago, um, I must have cooked like 3 days in a row, 3 weeks in a row. Nobody, cooked. So I said to my son, I said, when we get old, I said, are you going to make sure that we get a good meal? And he said, yeah. He said, I'm going to call and send Uber with y'all's food. So these kids, and I got a good kid, so I can't imagine if you got a bad one. Um, but we definitely need to use them to they don't have time. They love their parents, they appreciate everything that they've done, but their lives are so much more fulfilled at 30 and 40 than ours were at 30
Yeah.
and 40. And so a lot of time is not allocated. But what you can do as that person to fulfill your parents and your grandparents is to get them involved in technology, and you'll be surprised. They'll be on that computer like the kids are on those games. Like they don't
Yes.
go outside and play because their playing is on the these
Yes.
Nintendo and all these different digital games. The same
Yes.
thing
And
they
now
have
they're
with the
streaming
seniors.
them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
The
now
seniors can do
they're
the
not even
same
buying
thing.
the games. They want to stream everything. So
And
the
they've
thing
got a
that I
lot of Zoom groups, Vanessa, where seniors get on and do Zoom calls for different
okay,
things so that you can interact with people and never leave
that's a
your
good
house.
idea. That's a good yes, yes, because they're learning to get on Zoom. Yes, they have since COVID. There's
And they're
some
doing that
wonderful
for their doctor's
things.
appointments. They're doing it to if they've got any kind of nonprofit or any kind of volunteer work that they do, they're getting
Yes,
exposed to it. So we just need them to not do it because they have to, but do it because there's a whole world out there that will keep them fresh and vibrant. And once they get exposed to it, a lot of the seniors that we work with, they end up doing knowing more than their grandkids do. And I'm gonna tell you why. The seniors or the grandparents and even some of the parents that are retired, we have more
yes.
time to investigate and learn these things, whereas their lives are so busy they don't have time to know everything, but we can.
It's very time consuming. You
Yes,
know, to learn it is especially the way you did for yourself. Like you have to learn it before you can teach it. So
exactly.
I mean, we can pick it up so much easier if someone is teaching us, as opposed to getting this manual or looking online and trying, trial and error. It just is so much. Oh my goodness, I can't tell you.
And you can do it. You can do it, from the comfort of your home with a Zoom meeting.
Yes.
And one last thing I want to point out. I would love to see 50, 60, 70-year-olds get really savvy with this computer stuff, because there are so many great remote jobs out there, and they're looking for seasoned workers
Yes.
to fulfill them. And you can get that extra income that that can, provide you with the extra money so that you can buy a better computer. You can increase your internet connection. You can get all these little gadgets that allow you to, pretty much just stay connected.
And that's exactly what I was thinking, staying connected,
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm going to be going to your website and looking up your T-BYRDS Center myself.
Well, definitely send me your information so that I can make you a friend on Facebook and Instagram and all of that, because I post stuff every day.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
I have an Instagram account, but I have never posted one thing.
Well, I'll send you something that you can post to all your friends so they can get in tune with this technology. How about that?
And a lot of people want to follow me on Instagram, and I don't accept it. You know why? Because I got an Instagram, and I have 2 Facebook accounts. I got my Instagram account because I wanted to look up things that I was interested in. Mm-hmm. And I figured I don't need to see about your life on Facebook and see it again on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So my Instagram is really for informational purposes. Sewing or cooking or exercise, something educational like this, is what my Instagram is for.
And well, think about it like this, Vanessa. What if you have this great recipe, everybody in the family loves it, everybody, raves about it, and one day you just get your phone out and you videotape you making this recipe, and this is for all the people that are your age, and you just wanted to show them a different way of making chicken.
Yes.
So it's more about you providing information that's useful to people.
Right.
So look at it as a platform where you can open up, you can give back to what you know how to do to the world, opposed to spending that time looking at what somebody else is doing. I don't get that. I don't get how people sit there and just scroll up, for hours at what everybody else is doing.
It is time consuming. Well, I'm learning things. It's like a mentorship for me.
When I look at something educational, but
that's what my Instagram is for.
Posting food, posting, I'm at the restaurant and this is my no.
No,
but
not
if you were teaching them how to make a plate, that would be better. Yeah.
That's what, and see, I can look at all that. If I want to see your food and your grandbabies, I can look on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
On Instagram, I'm looking at them showing me techniques.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I see exercises. They're explaining things, why they're doing something. So I look at it more as a school type thing for me.
Like YouTube. YouTube's like that as well.
I love YouTube, yes. Mm-hmm. I go on there to learn, Facebook is more social for me.
It is. But that's where the people are, so.
That's where they are. But that's why if I'm friends with them on Facebook, I don't want them on my Instagram because I see what they post on Facebook.
And it is supposed to be a professional format.
Yes.
Now, but I see some stuff out there. I'm like, oh man, here we go.
Yes. Most of the people that I follow on Instagram, I don't know. I have no idea who they are. But I want the information that they put out.
That they provide, yeah.
Yes, that they provide, yes.
And you could be one of those informational people.
Yes, I think about it sometimes. I was sitting here sewing today and I thought,
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, that's a great idea. Like certain stitches.
Yes.
I think that's what's missing with our young people is they don't know how to do basic things.
Right. And
my son told my son told my grandson, he said, you have to make it. You have to you have to be successful. Because all the things that you are lazy at doing, you're going to have to hire people to pay them to do it.
You got to
be able to afford your lifestyle.
That's right. That is so true. So our young people need to still learn how to cook and sew and work that computer.
Exactly. It's not
You
one or
know,
the other.
it's not one or the other. No. Even Lynn has a little video out that DJ Straight has a video out.
Girl, I was being quiet. I'll put it out. No, I wanted to come on because I like what you all are talking about, but I wanted to say something about branding. First, I was posing for the camera, because I got my little, I like this
We
color,
saw.
and
We saw.
yeah, and I put my hair up today instead of my braids. But I want to say something about branding. Now, if you take people like, I want to take Oprah, okay, because all you need to know is her name. But I mean, she had on Christmas that they had monkey bread. Okay, that was 1 minute and 12 seconds. A lot of people follow her for that. Everything that she has is owned, her own network. Anything that's Oprah's name is old. Let her hit like, share, and
Yeah.
just people like like what your son is doing. He has his. You create your brand like I'm creating this brand of DJ Straight. Everything I write is DJ Straight. Everything done with the station is you see me when I'm posting this hashtag DJ Straight or hashtag this. So creating your brand is just being consistent with you. Use the same email if you can. Use the same name on email, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. That's how you create a brand. Then people get to know what it is that you're creating.
Yeah, and I tell my students too,
Is
you're
that right,
creating a
Trina?
brand when you do your job search. So you cannot have a recording on your cell phone that's playing some crazy music and you talking in
Yep.
slang and you expect an employer to be calling you to, maybe they didn't get in touch with you through the digital world and now they're
Yes.
calling you on the phone or your email address. That's a brand. You have to make sure that your
Yep.
email address for your job search is professional. You got to make sure your brand for Facebook, don't put the
Yep.
Facebook page down or don't have your name so when they look you up on Facebook, they can exclude you from the hiring pile because you got some crazy stuff out on your Facebook page. All of that encompasses your brand. And
Yep.
that's what they look at. They don't call it a brand because they don't want you to think, well, I'm worth more than, I'm more than just an employee. Employers are going to not refer to you as a brand, but they certainly are looking at your brand to see who and what you've been doing. So you got to look
Your
at it
brand
as a
is
brand as well.
identification.
So I am my brand.
Yes, you are.
You're right.
Okay.
You are your
Okay.
brand.
You are your brand.
And I
Now
can give
your
Okay.
you
brand is
I
not
can give you
McDonald's and it's not Oprah, but it's Vanessa.
yeah.
So
And you
everything
gotta
I
be the best
do
Vanessa you
should
can be.
represent my brand.
That's right. And your brand
Exactly.
is you.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
like when you sold, if you said like Patch a Hole, just say that's the name of your company. You want to have a picture of something that represents your logo of patching a hole. You wouldn't have a piece of greens up there and some string beans because you're not cooking. So your brand is everything that every time they think of you, like Nike doesn't have to ever say their name. But when you see that little twiggly thing, you automatically know it's Nike. Whether they say just
Exactly.
do it, or if it's red, or if it's green, you know that little whatever that thing
That logo
is
of
their brand.
theirs. Yeah. Okay.
So,
And it's the same
so
too,
that's
Vanessa, for you. Let's say, which you're not having to do because you're retired, but let's say you're sending out a resume. At the top of that resume is your brand, which is your name. Underneath it is your email address, which is probably your name or similar to something that identifies you. That's your brand.
Yes.
And then your at Facebook or your at LinkedIn address. All of that is your branding for you
your
as a
brand.
person, opposed to
All
being
right.
branded as a business. Everybody's not a business, but we
Right.
are a person with a career, with a job, and that is a brand as well. It's a personal brand opposed to it's a personal / professional brand opposed to a business
Yeah.
brand.
So I can really have my personal professional brand and then I can have a separate business brand.
Correct. Now
Whatever it is, you
you
just want to be consistent.
consistent, yeah. And when you have that personal professional brand, that means you're still an employee somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I resigned from my position that I had, but I think I will never retire.
Well, retired
But
just means, in my opinion, that you don't work for anybody full time anymore. You work for
yes, that's the
yourself.
goal. That's my goal. that I work for myself,
Right.
like you're doing. Well, this has certainly been informative, and you're right. I'll talk to you after off camera about that though. But
We
yes.
want to know everything on WGMLB. Excited. I'm just
Well,
kidding.
you will, but we want it to be organized because we're representing our brands here. So,
You're
You got it.
representing this here brand.
You
Like
got
yes,
it.
there you go.
yes,
See everything DJ straight. See, you can't come in here
absolutely.
and it be something else. That's why I have my uniforms on when I come. So when
I
you go to
see.
YouTube,
Uniforms.
you can see, oh, she has on a different kind of T-shirt. Somebody else
Hmm.
might wear tux, but to me, this is a uniform.
Represents.
Exactly.
I see. Well,
And I
thank
did
you,
get that
Miss.
video. I will put that video out there because people may learn from that. I
You
don't
never
know. They
know.
might, yeah,
They'll be
they might try.
entertained for
They might
sure.
try to copy it too. I'll let you see it.
Yeah, and you know what? I used to be caught up with that too, DJ Straight, with people copying my material and using it. But I started to look at it from a different perspective. If you're going to take my material and use it, that means that the person that's receiving it from you, it's still got my brand in it. It's still coming from me. So now it's reaching people that who don't. Of course, I don't like anybody stealing from me. Obviously
Right,
not.
right.
But if that's going to happen, it's going to happen.
It's going to
But
happen.
the end
Oh
result is
yeah.
going to be that somebody on that you would never be exposed to has now got your product. Maybe they don't understand that it came from you, but if it's helping that person, that's all you ever want anyway.
Yeah.
Well, for that video, I was really playing, but you're right because I think of some places that I used to be. My footprint is all over that place. You can't
Mm-hmm.
ever, if you take out furniture, if you take out music, if you take out certain things, then you may as well call it clean because no matter where you look, my brand, my name is history. It's always going to be there. So
I
you're right. Huh?
I
I like
put
footprint. I like that footprint.
yes. I put up on my Facebook page a little poem. It's not really a poem, but it's a saying about just that thing, um, how you never know who you touch, with what you do or say or where you go or your recommendations. So, um, yeah, maybe we can share that next week. But it's talking about, just like you said, they can reach people that maybe you won't reach. But I like it when people will reference where they got the information from, just as a courtesy. That's a courtesy that we
That's the
should
right thing
do.
to do.
That's
Yes,
called
it's the
a
right thing to do.
lawsuit if you don't. That's what that's called. Like what's that thing, that Robert Thicke thing, that blurred lines thing? Yeah, that was called a
Oh,
Blur,
lawsuit and
yeah.
you're gonna pay. Yeah.
yes, that's very that is a fine line there because there are only so many tunes and so many combinations of tunes. So they really got over with that one, I think, when they lost that lawsuit. I know he said he was influenced by Marvin Gaye. They liked his music, but just stealing from him, I really don't think they just outright stole from him. I think they were in their tune, they're in their zone, and they this music would just go, and not that they're saying, "Oh, I'm going to take this run from this song because I like it." I think it just came together.
If
Well,
that
they
were
were
true,
able to
which
convince
I
each other.
I kind of don't trust him. I don't trust the. I just didn't trust what they were doing, because if you're an expert in that field like they are, you know where things will come from. But you can't interpret what someone hears in their head. And I look at it like this: if I see a document and it's talking about business expenses, and then I look at it and I maybe copy one sentence out of it, and then I change the whole narrative of that paragraph to something that I want to say, then I do believe it becomes mine. Just like I believe
Right.
he took that tune and it became something that he wanted. But what the reason why I was upset with them is because once you realize that it really was close to what Marvin Gaye did, you should have. You're making millions. Give them a portion of it. Give them their just due. Give them credit for whatever part you did use, inadvertently or on purpose. Pay those
Well,
people.
And so what that means is every song now that ever comes out, you're going to have to find out, well, who did these 3 bars, and
They're
who did
supposed
these
to.
3
Yeah,
bars.
they're supposed
But
to.
if
It's
I'm in the
hard.
zone, if say I never even heard of this person before though, and I get
Hmm.
those same bars in my head, I'm not copying them. I've never heard of them, so I'm not really copying your music. But the Lord gives me that same tune.
I agree with you,
Or
Okay.
but I think that once you start to make millions at it, Vanessa, and that person feels like you did, you need to come to some settlement. You can't. You don't want to just ignore them.
Well,
right,
a
you're
lot
you're
of
you're
people
absolutely right.
imitate. A lot of people imitate. There's this guy. He's a very good musician. His name is Kayvon Carter. And the other day I saw a real short video clip where he took a bass line of a song, Hezekiah Walker, Every Praise, and he did about 5 songs with that same bass line. So music, you only have those 8 notes or 12 notes
Yeah,
on the key.
right.
Okay, so some things are going to sound alike. But I agree with what
Yeah,
Trina is saying too, because again, like when I'm uploading music to the station, if I upload Jesus is the best thing that ever happened to me, and we know James Cleveland wrote that, but you got Marvina Prince that does it, Sean Pace just did on something else. So you still have to give those people their credit. You still have to give
well,
them their
Hmm.
props
Hmm.
well, they're doing the exact song. They're
or
doing their
get
exact
permission.
song.
But you still
But
have
I'm
to get
saying,
permission even if you're borrowing.
yes, exact. I agree. But I'm saying, like you said, there are only 8 keys. There are 8 keys on the piano, 8 white keys, and then you have your black keys. There are only so many combinations that you're going to do. I mean,
Well,
there
You
may
can
Vanessa,
be,
never run out.
huh?
but
You can never
yeah, you
run out.
can never run out. But
Well, that's, but
you
they're
got to
going to be
also
some
look
similar
at
things.
It's
you
over
got to also look at
245
too
scales.
the reason why that song was so popular amongst people our age is because it reminded us of um, Marvin Gaye. So what do you say to that? It reminding. I'm gonna go out and buy it because it does take me back to, when I was younger, and
Personally,
so you need to pay
it,
for that.
it didn't
They're
take me
getting
back
money.
anywhere, though. I
Oh,
just
it
thought,
did for
oh,
me.
this has a
Oh,
good beat on it.
yeah, but I thought of him right away.
Oh, really?
I
See,
did.
I don't know music like that, so I didn't. But
This sounds
it
like
had a
another
good
show.
beat.
Yeah, we do need to
I
talk
thought
about it
I
more.
thought we
Yeah.
were ending. I just put my little comment. I just put my little two
Okay,
cents in there.
okay, that's another show. That's okay.
I
But
think
that's
both
something
sides
y'all can.
have good points to it. Both sides have a good
Yeah.
points.
Okay.
But the whole catch
Well,
is you all were talking
I
about
just don't
branding,
like
and
him.
Matrina was talking about her business and things like that. Hmm?
I just don't like him because of what he did to his wife either.
Yeah, no, see, I don't like him for that because I thought she was
yeah.
a pretty lady, and when she
Oh
played on
yeah.
Antoine Fisher, I was like, "Wow, who is she? She's very pretty. She's a good actress and everything." So then, when I found out that that was his wife, and then he dogged her like that, yeah, I didn't like him either. Because I liked him at first because I liked his dad. I thought he was nice looking. He could sing. He'd
Yeah.
been around some different genres, different ethnic groups and stuff. But once he cheated on his wife and did it, I was like, nope, I didn't like him either.
And he
Well,
had a
that's
history of doing
anybody.
it.
That's anybody who does it.
He had a history of doing it. I mean, he
Yeah,
begged her to come back, but she was just finally she was tired. She was done.
Hmm.
right.
And she's like, "Go ahead."
You can't falter. You can't
Yeah,
falter.
once you get tired, they don't
Yeah.
understand it. When you get tired, you're done.
When you get
That's another
tired, you
subject.
are done. Because I think women are pretty patient, but once you get
Yeah.
tired, you are done.
And then there's no way
And men
to
need to
figure it out.
understand that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Once
that's
you,
another 2 shows. That's another 2 shows, not just one. That is another 2 shows.
Maybe three.
We we gonna come back with men just don't understand.
That's a good one.
men need to understand.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a good
that could
one
be
too.
part B. That could be part B, but we'll come back to that because it is our time. Our time is drawing out. But this has been an interesting show. I just wanted to come on and add my little 2 cents because this is the Tripping with the Bird show. So technically, DJ Straight doesn't come on, but just interjecting because you all talk about very nice things. And so, but I will show you my constant contact stuff because it
Yes,
really
I'm
is
gonna look
good.
that up.
It's worth it. So I'll
I
give you
learned
a
something.
tour. I'll do a Zoom meeting with you and do a tour of constant contact, just an
Yeah.
overview,
Okay.
because you can't grasp it all in one
Oh
setting.
no.
It's so much like, and Trina's the one who recommended it to me.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
yes,
send me a link because I'll come on if I'm not busy that when you do it.
sure.
Because
We
yeah,
could
we need to definitely. It's getting so
yeah, we
powerful.
could probably set
DJ
up
Straight.
sometime Friday night. Let's come off and then we can set a time up, and because I'm pretty
Okay.
flexible
Okay.
Friday. Okay, all right.
Well, this
All
has been
hearts and
tripping
minds.
with the birds. Go ahead, DJ Straight.
I know I was gonna say all hearts and minds clear, but I don't want my mind and heart clear. I want my mind clear because I retain some stuff. So this, go ahead. You're the hostess.
Well, I was going to say this has been tripping with the birds, and it's been a great conversation about T-Bird Center and all of the teachings and the what do you call that? Your curriculum and what you're
Curriculum,
doing
yeah,
for the
types of
community.
classes thing. Yeah.
Classes, yes. So we're going to get some more information on that. So we post that so people can, contact you, those who are interested in coming to your classes.
Especially that older crew, because it's just so much
Yes.
money to be made in terms of side income, just so you can do some of the nice things that you want to do.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Well, until next week, have a blessed week, and I'm excited about it. And I did taste this; it was yummy.
Oh,
Thank you.
good.
And so I will we'll be back next week with part B, the second part
Yes, I'll be
with your
prepared.
curriculum.
Yeah,
Me too.
sounds
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Thank you. Until next week. DJ Straight. Mute, mute, mute.
No, it's still live.
Nice.